My name is Mr Segomotso Sebokedi-Phetlhu. I've got a double barrel surname. I grew up in this community in Temba in Hammanskraal. The family relocated here in 1970. And in the 70s, I was a student here. I started my primary school at Lefofa Primary School. And the rest of my education, of course, within the community.
What are you currently doing professionally and personally?
Well, what I'm currently doing post my retirement is actually working on projects that will plow back to the community. One of which is a project called the South African Student Cities, working in partnership with the city of Tshwane to make sure that all our university towns are very attractive and responsive to the needs of students. At a community level, we work with various SGBs within the Temba Community to advise them on how to, reimagine their curriculum, how to increase reading literacy for students and so on. So that's the advisory role that I play within the community.
What challenges did you face during your school years and how did you overcome them?
I think the biggest challenge that I faced, and of course the community faced during those years, was the fact that one, we were receiving a sort of an inferior education through the Bantu education system. And so when schools were built, we didn't have appropriate facilities for recreation. We didn't have libraries in our schools at that time. So we have to spend our own money or through our parents, make sure that we have access to books and so on. So that was the challenge that we faced during those years. And besides that, having schools in the community also meant that, we had to provide for ourselves things like food nutrition, programming, also teacher development, and also other opportunities that were there for our counterparts in white schools, in private schools, and so on. So generally, that was the experience. And secondly, I think the fact that we were the first generation of students in communities like this, meaning that our parents, didn't go up to high school or even universities. It meant that, as students learn and earners, we had to make sure that we learn as much as possible on our own. We didn't have also proper career guidance to imagine what opportunities could be after we complete our, basic education up to grade 12. So there were many, many challenges. And the fact that our teachers were also produced from college systems and not university systems meant that they too were not exposed to universities. Very little choices that we had in terms of Black universities and so on. So the whole apartheid system almost permeated within our reality in terms of the real purpose of education and also realizing our own aspirations beyond the classroom.
So, Mr. Segomotso, in your view, what are the biggest challenges facing schools and learners today?
I think post-1994, moving from the apartheid system, I would say that there were new challenges that emerged. Firstly, I think the biggest challenge was, the funding system, the funding model, although it was made equitable at the time. I think Black schools or schools in Black communities would have been given a better grant to improve the environment outside the school and so on. The second challenge that the schools are facing now is the fact that I don't think there is as much extracurricular activities happening in schools. You see schools completing or finishing at 1 o'clock and students roaming the streets. And the teachers are so overwhelmed with the work because of large classes and so on that the afternoon programs or the time in the afternoon extra in terms of reading, sports, debate, anything that builds character of students is not as much as it happened that time. So the government has not invested sufficiently in improving the school infrastructure, the teacher development as well, and the fact that teachers also work 8 to 4. They don't work beyond the time that is regulated in terms of their contract. Meant that there were less and less teachers who were dedicated to the extracurricular program, like starting a school choir, debate, or anything else so on. So I think that has changed. The other challenge that the students today are facing is the issue of discipline, obviously. I mean, yes, I am for the fact that there should be no corporal punishment in schools and so on, but there are many other ways in which you can build discipline within students. And then the parents today as well, I don't think that in terms of parental involvement, they are there to support the teachers and the learners in terms of making sure that students do their homework at home and so on. And of course, lastly, because we're in the digital age, the students are disrupted with the current media, social media. So there's a lot of influences coming into the mind of the students as well. So altogether, the whole ecosystem of how we educate the child should be designed in a way that the child is almost protected from the harmful effect around the community. And so there are more drugs today. There's free access to social media, which can also be harmful and so on. And I think parents have also distanced themselves from their responsibility to assist in the education of the child. So in the 1990s up to now, the last 20 years or 30 years of democracy, I think there's a lot that has changed in terms of how society works, how communities work, and the only people who are really affected ultimately negatively are the learners themselves.
So in your opinion, Mr. Segomotso, how can communities, alumni, and local businesses contribute to transforming schools?
Yeah, I think the fact that, and we must admit this, that the government doesn't have money to do everything for us to support the schools in terms of their development. It means that alumni, the community, and the business community and international donors must step in. So we need SGBs that are able to bring together the external parties, partner with alumni and community. But more than anything, I think the alumni are part of the community, and also most of us are in the business and corporate environment. So strategically, I think talking through your alumni, you could be able to reach out to the broader, funding or donor community out there. Alumni, unfortunately, which is the downside of it, have become detached from schools, unlike in your white schools, as you know, like your St. Albans and your big schools, Macy's, Warren. So for some reason, students who have come, the white students who have come from those schools tend to have better memory of schools and plowing back. So I think the bigger responsibility really falls on alumni from our schools, community schools, to also learn from what other alumni in previously white and also independent schools are doing in terms of being able to connect with the SGB, also being able to use their influence out there to redirect funds into schools as well. So, for an example, your white schools like St. Albans or St. Mary's, DSG, have got that culture of organizing events, whether it's a ball event or anything, to make sure that they use their positions within the corporate and government to redirect to raise money for schools and so on. So alumni have got a very, very, very big responsibility that they play. A school like this, which was founded in 1968, you can imagine in the last 50 years, between 68 and 28, how many alumni have gone through that, the school. But how do we connect them? How do we create what I call Lefofa Alumni associations, which is quite structured, so that we could have database of who is where in the world. One of our former alumni, in fact, current alumni, is an ambassador in the Netherlands. How can we use people like that who are influential to be able to connect through a structure? So that relationship between the SGB and the alumni, which represents the community, and also which is embedded within the corporate environment and government, is very crucial. But we must assist the SGBs as alumni, because SGBs, unfortunately, within the communities, some of them might not be as sophisticated, because they are drawn from the same community where the children come from. So we have to humble ourselves, but work in a way that we work through the alumni to make sure that we do fundraising, and also partner with crowdfunding companies like Cello, to be able to see how we can collect money, but with greater accountability in terms of how we account for the money, but also how do we access the corporate social investment. Every big company in South Africa has got that thing, but if you don't have a company like Cello, which has got what we call Section 18, I think, where companies that donate can be able to get a tax rebate from SARS and so on. So it's quite a sophisticated system that we have to build, so that our capacity to raise money locally, nationally, and globally is increasing that way. So I think alumni like myself and others that I know within our networks should be better organized and work closely with SGBs and the school to make sure that we assist the local learners in terms of their experience by improving infrastructure and other things that we can do.
I'm very sad that we are coming to the end of our interview. I think we actually need more time, just like Dalimbofu's son. His podcasts are 2 hours long, but you won't even notice that you're watching for 2 hours because it's such an insightful conversation. So with respect to our current conversation, I wanted to ask you, is there a cause, a project, or a school initiative that you are particularly passionate about supporting?
Yeah. I think for me, whatever project we choose, it should also integrate with the improvement of learning. Sometimes we think that there is no connection between the learning spaces that students go through, the learners. If you look outside the environment, there's so much that we can do in terms of making sure that when learners are here, they find an environment outside that is conducive for learning. And therefore, within the projects that I would like you almost initiate or suggest, it's the library, building library in communities like this. There's not a single school that I know that has got a fully fledged library, and not just library for schools. A library can have an auditorium, a digital space, computer labs, and so on. But it must be a world-class library that is attractive to young people, because we know a lot of black people, they don't have books and so on. So when you build a world-class library where there is a kids center and so on, you can be able to bring an environment where students after school, they don't want to go home, but just hang around, play with books, digital skills. You can also teach extracurricular programs, robotics. You can bring all those into this resource center, that this can be a library. So one of my wish really is to appeal, I don't know how many there are, almost 100,000 alumni out there who can maybe donate 100 Rand per month to this cause. And as you know, we recently lost the founder, one of the founding principals of the school, Ms Dammie. And therefore, we could build a library in her memory, contribute money in her memory, make sure that at least the library project becomes something that is associated to her. More often, we undermine the power of reading. I mean, just reading, the love of reading, of literature, or of students holding books, not just books that are offered by the government, but books that we can read for pleasure, that are, quite, attractive to the eye and so on. So through the library project, we can be able to inculcate this culture of reading and students enjoy it because, the whole education is based on our literacy, our relationship with books. And so students, when they love books, they also love education, so that it's not something that they are forced to do, but they do it effortlessly. And the more they read will produce the new Vusi Tembe choirs and others who can really articulate, speak with confidence. And out of that library, the library then become a foundation where they can do things like debate, write a newsletter for the school, and do other research, other things that they can do through the library. So I think that's the one project that we would love to partner with Cello to see that in the next 5 years between now 2026 and 2030, we can raise at least minimum 500,000 up to 1 million, which we care, so that we were able to start that flagship project. And maybe through the Lefofa, other schools, neighboring schools, can see what is possible when you partner with credible crowdfunding platforms that is run in a very accountable way, so that money that we collect from corporate is used for the purpose, and we can account for every cent when we build such infrastructure.